Today on my channel, Planner Friends, I'm doing a plan with me, but I really want to talk about a healthy way to reach whatever goals you're going after, long-term goals, how to chunk it down, and what to realize and remember as you're going for your goals. This is a goal planner, and I'm very proud I'm going to show you something that I recently accomplished. And I use this space to achieve those goals, but I also use this space to nurture my soul, which is key. So let's talk goals. Let's talk healthy, holistically getting there. And let's play with paper and stickers. Stay tuned, planner friends. Hello, planner friends, and welcome to my channel. I am One Crafty Dolo, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Thank you for the gift of your presence, your time. I'm sure, like all of us, you're busy, and I appreciate you. Today, we are going to do a plan with me. This is a classic happy planner. This is a Happy Notes cover. I love the contrast between the discs and this blue. I just think it's so pretty. I was going to change it. I haven't because I like it so much. And I want to talk to you today about reaching goals. If you're new, join my growing community. We'd love to have you. If you're returning, you're a subscriber. Boy, do I appreciate you, your comments, your likes, and so forth. This planner is specifically for reaching goals. What does that mean? What are my goals, so to speak? I have pivoted from working as an educator. I was a professor. I work in museums. I still do some little museum work on the side and so forth, but I'm trying to launch writing, and I have a children's book. I would like to see it come out by the end of the year. I'm working on that. The book's written, illustrated, and so forth. But in the meantime, I have set goals for myself, both for this channel, so that's one creative endeavor, and also for writing articles. And I'm published again, and I'm really happy about that. I'm going to link it in my link tree. You're welcome to read it. And ironically, it's about this channel. And so I did it, and I'm really thrilled and excited about that. But it's not always a straight line. So I want to talk to you, not coming from like, look, I did this. I wanted to show you proof I did it. But I want to really talk about how I have changed my approach to reaching my goals, and in the hope that it inspires you as well. Now, this month, I'm using this paper pack from Annie Tangerine. I've done that before. This is just a wonderful creative space. So I'm going to pull these out. I don't think I need my silicone mat today, so I'm just going to pull these out, and let's talk goals and so forth. Yeah, and I'm just going to decorate, and this is available at Amazon. Everything I buy is pretty much at discounts. So I pulled out some paper here. I always save the bits and bobs, as you can see. I might use that. Yeah, I cut and I save, and I cut and I save. That's this one down here. That could work. Maybe. I'll just put that out, maybe. So let's talk about how to reach your goals and why I have radically changed my approach to reaching goals, right? So the question is, goal planning. Why am I goal planning? Does it help? And it does help. But I'm going to add a but, if you will. And I want to talk about my own experiences, not just with pivoting and writing, but in terms of where I currently am. So let me go back a bit and say that there's direct ways to reach your goal, and there's indirect ways. And the truth of the matter, one thing that has cleared up my headspace in terms of goals and making me rethink them, how I approach them, it's this channel. Truthfully, it is this channel. This channel has really transformed so much of what I did, who I am, and the creativity of this channel, it turns out, really helps me in terms of my writing. And that was an unanticipated I don't want to say consequence, but it kind of is a consequence. It's, what's the word I'm looking for? In other words, I keep saying there's this quote from Maya Angelou where you can have creativity in one area and it will help you be creative in another area. And I've learned the hard way that's true. So we're going to talk, let's talk direct versus indirect goal setting and, getting their creativity in the mix and how that helps. And the third point I really want to talk about is balance. Pushing and striving versus a balanced approach, which I am quite honest here. I was not always a balanced when it came to my goals, that's for sure. So let's chat and let's get into it. First off, if you have any interest in changing this, flipping the script, as they say, do me a favor, write it out. Write it out, draw it out, create it in some way so that you can see it and know that it's there. You don't fully, if you don't understand your goals and see your goals, well, then you're not really going to reach your goals. It's kind of simple. It's not, but it is. So I would suggest define your long-term goals. That's first. Then you have to fill in the gaps. I still keep playing with this. You have to fill in the gaps as to where you want what, because short term, how can you reach goals to get there? It's a good question, right? And so start long term and then start the brush strokes of your short term goals. When I sit down to write, for example, I have a very different approach than I have had in the past. And quite frankly, I had a really rough experience. I have a PhD, traditional, old school, you have your comp exams and the professors are sitting across from you, grilling you. You have to write a dissertation and defend it. It was unpleasant, to say the least, and it took me a long time, partially because I was raising my son, which was my priority, but also because it just took me a long time, and I'm okay with that. I got there is what matters. But I hated the process. My goal was to get that degree, and the process, in my opinion, was the stuff nightmares are made of. It just really was. And that really taught me an invaluable lesson. And that simply is, you get your goals and so forth, but where's the balance in that? And part of understanding reaching your goals and finding balance and all of that is to understand how you work and know how you work. So for example, if you procrastinate, is it from fear? Is it from anxiety? People talk about imposter syndrome, things like that. I wouldn't say that was my problem. I had other stuff going on personally, so it really took a toll. That process took a toll on me. And it took me a long time to recover. And what I realize now that I didn't see as clearly then was I was lacking the idea of balance. Okay, I thought to reach that goal, all I had to do is continue on and on and on. And then it made the goal harder, if that makes sense. I'm not saying give up on the goal. Don't misinterpret me. But I didn't temper it with other activities to take me away. That was like an albatross for me. And it was always on me. And it was always frustrating. And I just had a hell of a time. So for reaching goals, I've learned, again, the hard way, there's direct, but the indirect can also really be incredibly beneficial. What do I mean by indirect ways? Well, I take time out here because, yes, I have this channel, but even if I didn't have this channel, I would be doing all of this. It turns out I needed creative spaces and I didn't know it. And that kind of boggles my mind a little bit. I mean, how do you go through life thinking one way and then one day you're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm different than that? Some people like to say they work well under pressure, and some people say they need extra time. Wherever you fall into those categories, all I am saying is that maybe you do need extra time. Maybe you need extra space. Maybe, you know, you just work differently. Know how you work and work within that. And understand something. Okay, I get a lot of rejections. I have a piece I'm waiting to hear from, and I'm already starting to think to myself, maybe, maybe not. You have to be okay with step backs. And at this point, it doesn't bother me if I get a rejection. I'm just like, okay, I gotta leave this. I'm just like, okay, next. I don't get upset about it anymore, because that's not gonna, those rejections aren't gonna spell the end of me trying and the end of me trying to succeed. Not happening. And so for me, I just feel that I am more confident because I'm doing other things besides one single solitary goal. That's basically what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. You can have one single solitary goal, go for it. But just recognize that you have to take time away from it because it's too much otherwise. And if you're only focused on the one thing, then it's creating stress in and of itself, right? You need breathers. You need to step back sometimes. You need to say, okay, this didn't work in the creation of that goal, so I'm going to do that. Instead of focusing on what didn't work, re-up it, as it were. The other thing that I have discovered in terms of setting goals, and this seems so obvious, and yet, unfortunately, I think it's not, is feed your soul and nurture yourself, and the goals will follow suit. It doesn't mean I take every day off for self-care and I'm just, all I'm doing are facials and walking and exercising. But those are all important aspects of me that I missed as I was doing that dissertation. Those are important to me, and I could have, and I'm not trying to be critical of myself. I'm just pointing out where I could have stepped back and said, hey, wait a minute. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? How can I go about this in a healthier way? And I didn't. As I said, I did finish, and I'm very proud of that, but it took a terrible cost. And now, as I'm achieving goals, I have my long-term goals. I have my short-term goals that I chunk down in this space. And if there's a week or two that I don't get to something or it doesn't go as planned, I don't give up on myself. I simply say, you know what? It's okay. I will do X. These are peeling, so I'm going to leave it. That's really what I wanted to talk to you about, because I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves. We think, oh, I can't, I won't. And I don't ever want anybody to feel that way, if that makes sense, because I feel like we do good things. We just need time and place to do them. And that's not a bad thing, friends. So for today, here's what I'd like you to do. If you have a goal, and it's a big kind of scary goal, find a place private just for you and write it down. Write it down to make it real. And when you do that, step back. It can be many long-term goals, and it doesn't have to be something professional. Maybe it's something for your home life. Maybe it's something for your community. Write your long-term goal down. And then take a few moments and say to yourself, gee, what am I doing? How am I doing this? And chunk it down. Now, I'm going to tell you right now from my own experience, you may not feel at the moment that you've scheduled to do whatever that may be, whatever task to, short-term goal to reach the long-term goal. Understand that's okay. Just when you can't do something, think of it as I'm putting this time in the bank and I will get back to it. This has to be straightened. You see what I mean? And if you really can't, because life is always life in it. These are sticking, so I can't pull them up. All right, that's fine. All righty, so I wouldn't mind something over here. And chunk it down and go from there. And that's an okay thing. Chunk it down if you think you can or you won't. I would also suggest that however much time you're giving yourself working on your goals, give that much time to nurturing and self-care and so forth. I think that's really an important thing. Yeah, that's what I want to say to you today. I think we can put this back in here. And yeah, I really, like I said, I went through it. I really went through it. And I now I approach its goals so differently. I'm so much happier. I just am doing it holistically, and that's made all the difference. A person can have 1,001 ideas. You may be an artist, but if your art isn't out there, maybe it's just for the joy of creating for yourself, that's fine. But then if you're too scared to show it, or you can't get yourself off the ground to do it, well, then you might want to think about that a little more, I'm just trying to figure out what markers I want to use here. So if you're a writer, but you're not putting your writing out there, it's hard to get rejected, but increasingly it's not. It really doesn't bother me as much as it might have. And I'm kind of proud of that, actually. Just try and don't kill yourself. I feel so much more balanced. And I do deal with anxiety. And so the fact that I can talk about this is a big deal. And yeah. You can see here, I've made my goals a little more general. I do chunk down time. If something happens and I can't get to it, I don't kill myself. I'm going to fill in the rest of this time here. Okay, so I do this work in between other things, so I'm working here. I didn't put goals. I'm just going to make it a free play. In fact, I'm going to write that, free play. Truthfully, it depends on the weather, whether I can film or not. I have time on Tuesday to create for YouTube writing. I'm going to tie up, Wednesday is like cleanup day, tying up loose ends, maybe Pinterest. I love Pinterest. I'm working Thursday, creative fun. On Friday, on Saturday on my channels, I put up reels, usually of our life in the country. So I'm going to see if there's something out there to film. This is my saying for the year, and I like to remind myself of it regularly. So instead of using a quote, I'm putting walk in light. I have what I call the new article. I'd submitted something. I'm waiting to hear. I haven't gone on Medium in a while. I need to think about that and work on my channel schedule. And I'm just going to add some little here and some here. I like to really play with these things. The markers, it's just freeing. And I almost wonder if I can put something on here. One of these, something in gold maybe. But I'm just having fun. And I like this. Yeah, and go have fun in the process of creating. We always worry about the end goal, and that is important, but guess what? Getting there is also important. All right, friends, I hope I inspired you today. I love this space. I love using this paper pack, and I love the fact that this month, this is more neutral. This has got the black and white and the blue, so I'm doing very different spreads all month. Yeah, one more week. Wow, it'll be October. Thanks for being here, friends. Let's reach our goals. Let's do the things. I will link my article. It is a Christian article, but it explains how I started the process of this channel, and it is my joy to share these things with you. Let's turn our burdens into blessings and let's achieve our goals. It's really, really important, friends, for our own who we are. And you know what? One more thing. It's important for us, if you have children or grandchildren, nieces and nephews, young people you're interacting with, when they see you achieving your goals, when they see you not reacting negatively to setbacks, that's incredible modeling that they need to see. So it's about you, but it's also shining your light to others. Thanks again, friends. Have a great day. Bye now.